change.
As someone who literally wrote a book about that campaign, it's so clear to me in 20 years hindsight that the Whitman economic plan, it was revealed around September 20th. I remember the day. I remember I remember John Whitman and her brother hanging out, one or two other advisors. It was in a small room, some university, maybe Kane University. She unveiled that plan 6 weeks before the election. She was about 20 points down at that point. The New York Times blasted her in an editorial, as you point out, the next day. But it's what New Jersey ultimately voted for.
That's right.
By a slim margin.
And I think that's, I remember once talking, I was invited to go speak at Ray Bateman's political science class here at Rutgers, and he was telling me at lunch, he said, I was there when Larry Kudlow presented to her all the different options of what levels you could cut the income tax. He said, and I couldn't believe she took the whole thing. And then you can say, that was really good politics. You can say it was really good politics to repeal the sales tax. Somebody else could say, look at the finances of New Jersey today. When we don't confront these things, we pay.
And my only partisan remark today will be that I was the last governor to fully fund the pension system.
Can I ask you a question in regard to the election? I think we all know that Americans love second chances, or to give second chances. And I also believe that Americans in New Jersey would have given Governor Florio that second chance if he had done certain things prior to the election. One, possibly signing the sales tax reduction, or signing the budget without vetoing it. Because then he could have said, listen, we had problems, as was stated here. We had problems when we came in 1990. We had to do certain things that had to be accomplished in our budget. And we understood that. And then when the Republicans took over, they said, well, wait a minute, we could do something different. And if Governor Florio had, at that point, the administration had agreed, I'll tell you right now, the governor would have been reelected. Americans were ready, and New Jerseyans would have given him that second chance. The very fact that it was as close as it was, John, indicated to me that if he had done that, it was very good politics for him to get reelected.
Well, just one quick point. The haunting nature of a close election is that you could point to any number of things and say, well, if we had done this or did that. I would submit to this, and you're right, in a close election, who's to say what makes a difference? But I would argue that the vast majority of people who voted in the 1993 election for governor did not know that Governor Florio vetoed the budget 2 years earlier and it had been overridden. I don't think that was anywhere on people's radar screens. So you could say, if he'd done it, so who would have known that he did it? It wasn't that people would go, oh, I didn't like him, but then when he accepted that sales tax repeal, I started to like him again. I mean, because you have to make this point too. Some people like you because you stick to your convictions. So that's why I go back to, it can be the worst of both worlds to say, okay, you might dislike me because I raised the sales tax, but don't you like me because I raised the income tax, but don't you like me because I accepted the repeal of the sales tax? I think it gets too nuanced to be able to consider that a political victory.